Everyone, my name is Matt Ackerson. I'm the CEO and founder of autogrow.co. You might already know that. I'm joined by Alex and Mariana. All right. And today, Alex, what's the topic that we're talking about in today's video?
We're talking about the 6-point email marketing funnel formula. And another thing that we call it is the vacuum formula. It's an acronym.
Called the vacuum formula because we can suck up all the leads.
That's right.
So you would use this formula as sort of a mental template and a beginner template. You know, if you're looking to start, any simple email sequence, and you want to feel confident that you're going to get results with it. Typically, it's best for a scenario where you have someone opting in to get some sort of a lead magnet. And why do you want to execute on this formula, which has basically assumes that you're going to have at least 6 emails in the email sequence. Well, multiple emails and multiple follow-ups over time plays on the principle and the sales funnel physics law. We have 11 laws of sales funnel physics. You'll learn all of them over time if you continue to watch these videos with us. But it plays on the law of repetition. Okay, so if you are repeatedly exposed to a brand, you are going to remember that brand. And especially if they're giving you something of value, which I think is a good jumping off point for email number 1, which is also the first point in this formula.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that is the value email. So basically you want to avoid the hard sell right off the bat. And you want to show the people who subscribe that you actually have value to give. So one way to do that is by linking to, I guess, some content that you've written for your website, other resources, I guess demos, tutorials, resources like that, basically.
Yeah. So specifically what I recommend, because if you put yourself in the shoes of a prospect who has, they wanted whatever you were offering to them when they joined your email list. Okay. So you've already sent some sort of automated email where it says, okay, here's the thing that you wanted. Click here to download it, read it, consume it, whatever. Right. Well, in this first email, really just a very simple, very easy thing that you can do in terms of the writing of it. And these don't have to be super long emails either. Sometimes length might actually work against you because people are busy, and they're really busy depending on, whatever type of market you're in. But most people are busy and they don't want to read a long email. So you want to keep it between 300 to 500 words maximum for each of these emails. And in this first email though, just keep it short, keep it sweet, and I recommend making the primary call to action just be for them to, hey, did you see the thing that you opted in to already get? So you want to link back to that specifically, I would say, just for this first email. And Alex, the reason why we want to do this versus having like a different call to action a little bit later in the sequence is what I've seen is like people will opt in, right? They'll opt into your email list to get, X thing that you promised them for free. But often only like 50% of them will actually go and open and click on the email right after they opted in. So that's like 50% of people where if they just consumed that thing that they said that they wanted, but then didn't, if you can increase that from 50%, say just to 75%, well, that's potentially an additional 50% more leads making their way down your funnel. Mm-hmm. So that's the strategy and some of the thoughts behind email number 1.
I have a quick question. Like, what would be the hook for the reader or for the person receiving the email to expect the next email and actually clicking on that next email?
Oh, great question. So very easy if you practice it. It might seem a little nuanced or not come so naturally at first, but if you practice it, and again, one reason why it's great to delegate all of your digital marketing tasks to a company like AutoGrow. Check us out at autogrow.co if you want, because you get a full team, including a copywriter who can help you out with writing copy like this. Alex is smiling because he's one of our amazing copywriters on staff here. So Mariana, to answer your question, you want to practice what's called in copywriting as open loops. So you can tease them about some sort of a story or some sort of insight that they're going to get if they pay attention to the next email that's coming up soon. So it could be something as simple as, again, starting a story and not finishing it. It could be something, and those are really kind of the best, because if it's a story where it's structured right, you're giving them value and teaching, right within the first email. But at the same time, you are, and I would say kind of really focus more time than you think is even necessary on talking about the problem and showing that you understand the problem that people are looking to solve. The original reason why they opted in probably in the first place. So, and if you do that, you're just people are going to be more interested to come along, because they're going to kind of assume that, okay, the solution, this person understands my problem. They're much more likely to have a good solution than in that case. And you can tease that at the end, specifically the last couple sentences of the email.
Yeah, and actually including a PS, that's the perfect place to do it, I think. But leading into that, the second email is the authority email. So this is where you pretty much just want people to know that you know your stuff, you know what you're talking about. And there are a couple of ways that you can do that. One of them, I think, is the most important, which is incorporating social proof. So maybe you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so social proof, in this case, building authority, comes in the form of just tell a story about an experience that you had. It's really ideal if it's with a client, because you can tell stories about your own experience and people will engage with that all day long. That's totally fine. But it's just as compelling, if not probably more, if it's from a client from whom you can actually have a quote at the, somewhere incorporated in there, because, you can say how awesome, the idea is that you can say how awesome you are all day long, but people are more interested in or more likely to believe if other people say you're awesome, right? And that's the whole principle of social proof, is that it's something kind of external to you that's kind of proof of your company, whatever, being legit, trustworthy, all those good things. So it can be a case study, it can be multiple kind of story anecdotes, it can be, and it could also ideally want to incorporate some quotes. I write some fiction in my spare time, and what's great about writing fiction is that you learn what is boring for people to read who don't have no motivation to read other than just entertainment. Okay, not even looking to solve a problem other than the fact that, oh, I'm kind of bored, I wonder if I should pick up this book or audiobook and engage with it. And this relates to the idea of using quotes from potential clients, because in writing fiction, what you learn is that people like action, and it's really boring if all you're doing is describing the setting, the scenery. If you spend too much time on it, action is what people find compelling, engaging, and moves the story forward. And part of action is people speaking. So there you go.
So speaking of action, the third email is actually the call to action email. See how that works? So this is basically where you start selling a little bit more. This is where you say what you have to offer and you put it out on the table and you try to get people reading your email to basically capitalize on the offer. Yeah. So one thing that I think this article talked about, is using power words. And then one of them in particular is you. So basically you want to use a lot of you language, because people like talking about themselves. They like hearing about themselves, and they like seeing how something's going to relate back to them. So that's one thing.
And that's something too that we use in writing content headlines. We try to use you, because you is a word that people engage with. It's just more engaging. It kind of opens the conversation for a response, or it shows that the interest is on potentially giving more value in the form of an offer or solution to the person. And this is only the third email. And some people might say, oh, is that too soon? Because this is a common question, like, okay, how soon do I make the offer? And I think that too often businesses actually make the mistake of waiting too long to make an offer. Or in some cases, I've seen businesses where they just don't make any offer at all. They're just all they're all value, 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 and they're just like based on the principle, great principle of reciprocity. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like law of visibility. If you actually inform people, like, so for example, let me tell a quick story. So with a client that we had a few years ago, who was in the photography space, pretty big website, a lot of traffic, hundreds of thousands of people, big email list, like 150,000 people. And so we did a survey. I remember when we were rebuilding the person's, the business's sales funnel online. And one of the survey questions was, do you know that we offer a paid membership? And something like an overwhelming majority, like 90+% replied saying like, no. And then even some of the replies were like, you have a membership? Well, sign me up. Like, where do I go to sign up? Because this brand had just been putting out value the entire time, and they hadn't actually been making any clear offer. It was just V value. So another thing with another client recently too. And so the thing is, the principle is like, don't be afraid to sell. And that's why we don't wait longer than the third email to actually have a clear call to action using engaging language like you, but also command-based language like, go check it out right now, and just, it's okay if you're restating some of the points that are going to be on your landing page, problem, solution, top benefits, call to action, it's value in and of itself. So don't be afraid to sell and do it in the third email.
So email number 4 is unique. So this one, you pretty much just want to say what makes you stand out from your competitors, what you can offer that other people can, and what you stand for, basically.
Yeah, I would think you want to expand upon your value proposition. So what is the promise that your product or service makes to people? And you just want to develop that idea a bit more, because that is supposed to be a compelling reason for why people should decide not just to buy, but to buy from you, to buy from your brand. So for example, if specifically you are, offering, I don't know, some sort of a sports supplement to high performance athletes that are training for, professional level events. Well, that's unique. This is not just a consumer sports supplement. This is specifically for high performance athletes. And you want to call that out, right? Because that is also going to increase the engagement and the conversion rate overall.
And actually, I just thought it was kind of interesting because one of the examples mentioned there is a dog food company that's, their recipe includes kangaroo. So, just call out what's unique to your brand. Really capitalize on the kangaroo if you have it. So the next email,
interesting vitamins in there.
Exactly. So the next email is urgency. And that's pretty much copywriting 101, right?
You want to give people a reason to make a decision now. Okay. And you're kind of setting a clock in a sense. It's really interesting how this also relates back to writing fiction. Like it's just something that engages people. You could relate this to watching a movie, scenes where, you find that you're most engaged and the story kind of really picks up pace. Oh, it's the clock is counting down before the bomb goes off. Alfred Hitchcock, who he used to make these classic movies. I haven't seen many of them, but like The Birds and, Psycho. So anyway, Alfred Hitchcock was famous for these movies, and he was interviewed to write about like how do you make a scene interesting. He said, all right, well, you have two people in a restaurant and they're having a conversation at a table. And he said, but you make it interesting. You put a bomb with a ticking clock under the table, and the audience knows about it. Okay. So in a similar way with this email, we're putting the bomb under the table in a sense, in a conceptual sense, and we're saying, okay, listen, like there is a lot of benefit, and we're starting the clock now, and incentive to make a decision. So usually you want to have some sort of special offer baked in there.
Mm-hmm. And then that leads pretty well into email 6, which is make a decision. Actually, make a decision already. So yeah, this is like the prime time for hard sell. Like this is when you put your best foot forward and you give your best deal, and you say why people have to buy your product or service.
Yeah. The bomb is about to go off. What are the consequences of taking the offer, disarming it, and getting like massive benefits? And this is where you can use the strategy of contrast. So that people have a problem. That's why they're considering buying from you in the first place. What is their life or business like with going with your solution? How is it going to make their life better versus not, versus doing nothing? Okay, that bomb goes off. Nothing is going to happen immediately, but well, maybe that's really bad because maybe the problem is really, really painful and they need to be reminded of that. So it's an opportunity. You're making the hard sell here. Don't come off as desperate. Just do a quick recap of the benefits, create that contrast, and say, okay, this is the last chance. The offer is expiring soon. I really encourage you to check it out. All right.
That's it. That's the vacuum formula.
There you go. That is the vacuum formula to help you suck up all those leads and convert them into qualified leads that are ready to buy from you. So, as I mentioned earlier, check out autogrow.co. With Autogrow, you can delegate all of your digital marketing tasks. And it's like project management software with just a whole team of talented professionals attached to it. You sign up, you log in with 2 clicks, all right? Select your package, click to check out, and then instantly you are in the software and you have a whole team of professionals there who can help you. If you're not even sure, what tactics, what, marketing strategies you should be using, we have a strategist who can help you to decide on what you need to do. But if you know what you need to do, you're in the driver's seat, okay? And we're the car, and we can get you wherever you need to go in terms of your digital marketing success, landing pages, emails, campaigns, ad campaigns or targeting ads, entire sales funnels, anything you think of, we can help you to make it real. All right. And you get work done just by typing in some notes or selecting a template from our marketplace and click the button that says make it real, and we make it real for you. All right. So check it out, autogrow.co. And if you're more of the do-it-yourself type, maybe you're on a tighter budget, check out our 6-figure sales funnel training via our marketplace, autogrow.co/marketplace. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Keep converting and stay focused.